Hey you all, apologies for this drab background. My whole entire life is a work in progress apparently. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing and demoing on my face and my giant tattoo these two products from Catrice. This is the HD Liquid Coverage Foundation in the shade 10 Light Beige, and this is the Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer in the shade 50 Rosy Ash. These two items were gifted to me by Catrice, so thank you Catrice for these items. If you're interested in checking them out yourself, there will be a link in the description box below. It is not an affiliated link. It makes me no money. It is there for your convenience. Okay, now let's get into the review. So I'm gonna keep this part short and sweet, you all, because I do talk a lot during the demo of these products. Long story short, this concealer, I hate it. It doesn't cover tattoos. It doesn't cover blemishes super well. It doesn't cover under eye darkness, and it's the wrong shade for me. Like, I thought it was a really light pink shade, but you'll see in the demo, it's kind of like yellowy, orangey, and like way too dark for me. So I don't know if that's just my own fault for picking the wrong color, but usually when I go with a light rosy color, it works really well for under my eyes, and that was not the case here. Regardless, it's not a great product. Both of these products are pretty fragranced, by the way, so I'm just not cool with that, like as an esthetician, as somebody with sensitive eyes and acne prone skin. So yeah, just not a fan of the concealer. Now the foundation I actually really like. I really like the color, I really like the coverage, and the finish is pretty... The finish, it does become one with the skin. Like, it's not super detectable on my skin, but the matteness and dryness of it does make it look less natural on me and less every day. It looks very perfected without looking cakey, I will say that. But because of the coverage and the dryness of it, it's not my favorite foundation that I've ever tried, but do I think it's a really good foundation for the price? Yes, it's $11. And I think if you're on a budget and you just want something full coverage, I think it's a good option. And if you have light olive skin and you're just super on the hunt for something full coverage that matches, this could be a potential match for you, because I know a lot of you out there have similar complexions to me. So with all that being said, those are my thoughts. Give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying it so far, and stay tuned now for the demo. So my eyes and my lips are on, and we're gonna be doing the complexion together. So I'm gonna be testing the Catrice concealer and foundation. I have tried them before, and I already know I hate this and I like the foundation a lot. So just to get it out of the way, and maybe I will change my mind, who knows, I'm gonna try the concealer first on camera. So let me zoom you in. Okay, it's a good day to test a foundation and concealer because my skin is like, you know, it's been doing some things. This is the Catrice Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer. I got this in the shade 50 Rosy Ash, and I know my undertone is not rosy. However, I like to use rosy concealers for under the eyes because, as you can see, I do have some under eye darkness that I'm just genetically blessed with. So this did not work for that. It ended up being lighter than the foundation itself. So let me just show you. And it's not rosy. It looks kind of yellowy orange, right? Let me turn down the lights. Yeah, I like do not love it. Let's like use this brush. I mean, you can see a difference on this side versus this side, but it's not like bright or particularly covered. I mean, it's the wrong color, but I also don't like the coverage. Like, let me show you how it looks on here and on this spot as like spot concealer, even though it is the wrong color. So I'm just taking some on the back of my hand because I don't like to put these concealers directly on. I mean, look at that color. That is not rose ash. I don't know what this is. Okay, actually that covered decently well. Let's try this bane of my existence right here. Yeah, so see when I tap it out? And again, it's the wrong color, but I don't love the way it's covering. And you know what? I'm gonna redo the claims on this. It says, liquid, high coverage, and ultra long lasting concealer. Perfectly camouflages under eye circles, spots, and even tattoos. Apply in small dabs and let dry well. Apply extra layers if needed. Waterproof, dermatologically tested. Should we just try this on my tattoo real quick? Let's do it. All right, I did just shower, so my arm is clean. When I do tattoo coverage as a makeup artist, like there's color correction involved, like there's no one product that I've ever found that just covers tattoos except maybe Dermablend. Okay, even just layering the concealer over the tattoo and not blending it out, you can still see the tattoo. That's a pretty bad sign when the product doesn't even go on full coverage before you blend it out. Yeah, no. That is not covered. Let's apply more layers if needed, as the instructions suggest. Also, it's pretty heavily fragranced, and I don't like that. I mean, you can still see it. I mean, no, it does not cover tattoos. So yeah, I'm gonna wipe this off and come back and continue with the face. Okay, I will say though, as to its waterproof claim, this is a baby wipe, so not a makeup wipe, but it's pretty much like not coming off. So that would be cool if you needed concealer to stay on for literally no reason, because it doesn't cover anything. This would be great for like just giving your body some all over coverage, which is something I never do. Like I never put makeup on my chest or anything like that because I'm afraid of transfer, and I just don't want to deal with the hassle. But this is something I would totally put on my body and like be confident that it isn't going to move. But if I want to put it on my body to like cover stuff, that would not be okay. It would just be like an all over thin layer of coverage kind of thing, because this is not covered, but it is there and it's not going away. So it is super long lasting and transfer resistant. Okay, so now that we've seen how mediocre this concealer is coverage wise, let's compare it to another drugstore concealer that you all know I love. It's the Milani Conceal and Perfect in the shade 110 Nude Ivory. And this one has a pink base as well. So I'm gonna put on about the same amount, and I'll use the same brush to blend it. I mean, it looks way better. Aside from the color being better, the coverage is just better. Sorry, Catrice. Okay, and here's a little close-up. Again, the colors are different, but my under eye darkness is still very apparent right here, whereas it is not as apparent right here. And I let this dry a little bit, so if I pat it out now, you can still see the dark spot underneath. And I know that like these types of like crusty pimple wounds, you can totally cover with makeup because I've done it before, specifically with the Dermablend foundation. Like that one covers it in like 1 to 2 passes. So yeah, not impressed with this concealer, unfortunately. Now the foundation, on the other hand, I really like. I don't think it's something that will be my everyday go-to, and I will explain why. It's for 2 reasons. The first reason is that it's pretty heavily scented. My skin is acne prone. I am a licensed esthetician as well, so you all know that skincare is super important to me, and part of my skincare is not wearing makeup that is fragranced on a daily basis if I can help it. So that's one reason. Now, the other reason is it's kind of dry looking on the skin. I'm gonna try one side with a hydrating primer, one side without, to see if that helps, because when I tried this, it was just over like moisturizer that I had on my face for a while that day. But I will say the coverage is amazing. And the color is amazing, which I'm so happy to report because I know a lot of you watch me because you also have light olive skin and you're looking for something that's a good match, that's not too yellow, not peach, not pink. So this is it. This is a great color. So this is number 10, light beige. So the primer I'm going in with is kind of random. It's just something I have. You can even just do this with an extra layer of your moisturizer, but this one is the Cover FX Water Cloud Primer. I got this for free when I worked at Ulta. I don't use it that much, so I'm gonna use it today. All right, so that is probably way too much. I despise this texture. Like, what is this? All right, so again, I'm just priming this side so we can see if that makes a difference in how dry and cakey kind of the foundation looks. Although it didn't look cakey, it looked really smooth. Okay, so let's get to applying the foundation. I'm gonna use the My Kitco 0.22 My Flawless Face Brush. Okay, it does say shake before use, so I'm gonna do that. And I never drop foundation directly onto my face or onto the brush, unless I'm like in the car or somewhere where I really don't wanna get my hands dirty, but generally you're gonna get the best application if you work off of a palette. So I'm working off the back of my hand and just getting some foundation on the side of the brush there. I don't know if you can tell on camera how that has a sort of nice green tone to it. That's like what we want if we're olive. Here, you can kind of see there. Definitely blobbed on too much, but I wanted you to just see the color. Okay, and that brings me to the scent. It kind of smells like baby wipes, like crossed with sunscreen. So it's not a smell that I dislike. It's just a smell that I know is added artificial fragrance, and I don't love that in general. Okay, so I feel like my skin looks really good on this side. It's a really good match. In terms of the primer and whether that helped with the texture, I kind of think it did. It still does look pretty matte though. I wonder if I were to mix it with like an oil or something, although I don't really use oils that much. And I know most of my clients don't because they're acne prone, but I don't know about my followers here. Do y'all use like beauty oils? Do you mix your foundations with oils? Let me know if you do that. So it definitely feels lightweight. The smell lingered, but it did dissipate eventually, like maybe after like half an hour or an hour. But I will say it feels so light, and it does say on the bottle that it's supposed to be like a second skin, and I kind of agree. It's like really lightweight. I do have like a really stubborn patch of hyperpigmentation right here, so I'm going to just build that up a little bit. If it weren't like a big blob of hyperpigmentation, I would use a smaller brush to spot conceal, but it's just faster to do like all over coverage in this area. And that looks pretty good. I mean, it's not completely erased, but like for a foundation, it's really good. Okay, so this is what my skin looks like. I think it looks good. So this is my natural skin, and this is the foundation. Obviously, like I look really flat and blanked out, as you will with any full coverage foundation before you apply bronzer, blush, all that stuff. But compared to my neck, my ears, it's all looking really good. It doesn't look yellow, it doesn't look peach, it doesn't look pink, it doesn't look dark, it doesn't look pasty. So I'm really happy with the color. I'm really happy with the coverage. Again, I wish it were a little bit less matte, just a hair less matte, and not fragranced. Okay, and this side will be a good demonstration because I am more broken out on this side. None of them are really fresh breakouts. I've been really stressed out, and my skin has just been showing my stress. See how compared to the redness on my skin, it looks kind of green? That's kind of what you want for olive skin. Okay, now I don't feel like the primer is making a difference. I feel like this side dried down really matte, And when you first apply it, it's a little bit shinier, but then it just dries down super matte. That's how I feel. And like I said, I'm not one to really use oils and stuff, so I don't know. And see, adding a layer of foundation here covered that blemish up way better than the concealer did. So this is my skin on that side. It looks really even, like the coverage is really good. And like the texture is really smooth, but it just would look better if it weren't so matte and so dry. But you know what, this foundation is really inexpensive. So like if you're like somebody on a budget and you don't really care about fragrance and maybe your skin's a little bit oily, or maybe you work in a restaurant or retail where the lights make you really greasy, like this could be a good option for you. Or if you're like a literal child. Okay, so let me zoom you out a little bit quickly. Let's add some bronzer and blush just to see how those items go on and wear on top. Speaking of fragranced face makeup, I'm gonna use the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. This is the light chocolate Soleil. I mean, it goes on really nicely. This foundation does have a somewhat powdery finish, and I've tried a cream blush on top of this. Granted, it wasn't like the best cream blush, but it didn't work quite as well as powders. But yeah, the powder bronzer is blending really well on top of this, and it's not like picking up coverage. Like sometimes that can happen when you apply products on top of each other. Okay, now I'm taking the MAC Mineralized Blush in Flirting with Danger. I'm not sure I'm obsessed with this. So it blended well and it looks pretty good, just a little dry. Like, I don't know what else to really say. Like these blushes from MAC have a slight glow, but this foundation is just really matte and it's making everything on top look pretty matte as well, which in general can look very like perfected, and I don't know, it could be a look, but like, I don't know if it's my look right now. Like I feel like with these shimmery, like natural kind of fairy-like eyes, it's not like working for me. Like I probably would have liked a more dewy natural skin look, but does my skin look good? Yeah, like it looks good. All right, so let me give you another close-up again, just so you can see how the products blended on top. It like blended really well, but yeah, I don't know. So that is it for this review of the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation and Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer. The concealer, I hate. It's a total flop. Don't get it. Like, I just don't like it. I don't see the purpose of it. Repackage this as a light coverage body foundation, and then I might use it and give it a positive review. Might. Because the transfer resistance of it is really nice. Everything else about it, I really just don't like. The foundation has some things I really love about it and some things that I don't love about it. I really like it overall, but I do have other foundations that I like better. If I found myself in a situation where I needed really quick coverage and I was like gonna be sweaty and greasy, then I would totally reach for this actually. However, because of the fragrance and the dryness, I will not be wearing it on a daily basis. But I am pleased to report that if you have light olive skin, this could be a match. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It does help my channel out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.